Good morning, happy people. My name is Jay Song. We're going to look at ALCH, which I have some very important comments to talk about in that crypto. At the end of the session today, I'll be doing a special look at Bitcoin. You don't want to miss out. Today is all Patreon day, so if you guys been a free member of our community, you can always join. And this is our schedule. So we meet on Saturdays, 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, 6 a.m. on Wednesdays, where we do focus a lot on teaching, although I have been teaching a lot on Mondays now, and Saturday, 9 a.m. We're building cryptocurrency maps. We're talking about structure. We're talking about volume. We're talking about money moving in, money moving out, the dangers, the risk, important areas, and most importantly, using the map structures to understand where to read and where we can primarily rest, where the important stuff should be happening, where it's primarily going to happen. And then again, tomorrow we're going to be meeting for our WordRoom Sunday service. We always meet at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Vibrant's going to be covering for me when it's time for my new baby to be born, which is probably within a week. We think it's very soon. We're very excited about that. All right, let's begin with our session today. And we're going to start with JASMY. So we last left off, we had some strong professional selling that entered the market. We had some, it looks like a little bit of stopping volume here at the bottom. And then we had some more smaller selling, professional selling that was confirmed by moves into weaknesses. And now that we are here in these areas, again, the up move is on lack of interest. So even with the health, this up moves on lack of interest, the down moves on lack of interest, and this down move is on lack of interest. So we're going to need to confirm with using some higher time frames what is really happening. So let's start with a monthly chart. Let's block it out and read. And I'm just going to move these arrows that we had off to the side. Okay. February 11th. So let's read what was happening in February. January, JASMY still shows lots of weakness in its territories, losing support after support. Currently, there is local unconfirmed selling shown in today's video. It will be confirmed when prices close below 0049. If so, this should trigger a short towards the 0034 area. This is about 42% gain. So if we can make it to the 34, which is the flat, and it's basically down here, that's about 42% gain. This crypto has lots of strength in that area. Please use caution by exiting shorts at appropriate areas. Let others take the risk if the support flat is last at 0034 area. This is quite significant. So there'll be times when even when you take a short, when it's dangerous to continue the game. And so if I see like it's really dangerous, what I'm starting to do now on my annotation is just putting a black circle, white border, and an X, telling myself, hey, remember that you need to exit your position. Sometimes these X's does not mean reversal, does not mean buy, does not mean go up or anything. It reminds me, hey, this is where the danger is coming in and the risk is too much to short. And it's just, there's times when it's opportune to make a move and other times when it's not opportune to make a move. And I believe part of that is the possible absorption and control that happened at the bottom. So we had some big money coming in for JASMY around these prices. This is the prices they paid. We can see the volume came in on the down bar, down move, downtrend, followed by moves into health. When that happened way back when in 2022, we challenged the area again. And when we challenged the area again, it was on very low or no demand. So this was when bulls have control because they've absorbed the bulk of the floating supply here at these areas. Again, the move from those two areas is also into health and price moves up. Now, there was a strong bout of, it looks like, a professional selling that started to come into the market. And then what happened is we had one more bout of professional selling, and that was on February 2024 and December of 2024. So it took a whole year where prices consolidated, but you can actually see what's happening is that there's major profit taking here and here. One of the things I do not see about JASMY is I don't believe there's a strong balance between the volume from the buyers and the sellers, which means the buyers still have a lot of power. Now I can tell that by using and measuring the volume at those areas where the initial accumulations would have came in. So let me just show you quickly what that means. Okay, so if we measure the buyers in their range, it's always on the down bar, the down move, where they started picking up where they started paying quickly, we can see that they started paying around these prices. So a lot of money is actually coming into this around these areas and these areas. So a lot of move on this down move is a very wide range. that they started paying. Now, this was expensive for them. They started losing money the moment they started buying. And we did have some issues there, but the rest of the buying that would have happened on the down bars probably is going to be here. I don't believe all of, see how there's all the lack of interest. This is where they get the no demand, low demand. They're not interested in the down move after they have control. So this is no demand. But after it happens, or just before it happens, when we're comparing it with the selling bars, all we really have to do is block this out. And we can do this with a crayon and a pen, and you can do this other ways with tools, but you can just block out the bulk of the volume, or approximately where it should have happened. And you can start stacking these together at where the selling was approximately happening. And you can quickly just see, do they balance? And basically it's like blocks canceling each other out. So let me just put these together, and then you can quickly see. And this is a very crude version of doing this, but if I overlap this and I were to delete these, like 1 minus 1 equals whatever it's going to equal. So if I take the unit and I minus what was left, you can still see how much volume is still left in this game. And that means that there's a bulk of players that really need to be accounted for. Does that make sense? It's a simple demonstration with crayons, but we can see that there's still a large amount of players that are still here. And which team are they for? It's easy to see that these guys are the remainder of the buyers that exist. And this is why the shorts after that point will be quite dangerous, okay? Because if you're trying to short, you need to remember, hey, I got all these guys that are reinforcements. If you think you're something and you're attacking with your army and you're going and you're kicking butt and you're like, yeah, and you start thinking something and you forgot that all the other troops are in the garrison just waiting and there's a bunch of them, you need to know how much you're playing against so you can understand the risk and danger. And that's basically what's happening here. So if we calculate for buyers, we calculate for sellers, and we combine them, we can see there's that much that remains approximately. And yes, this is crude and it's not an exact science. It's basically more or less what you're looking for. Meaning bullish players. Now there's times I've done this and there's so many bearish players, and what happens is the stock, the crypto, gets really overwhelmed to the downside, and you'll start seeing those go down. You need to understand this crypto has lots of fight. Okay, JASMY has lots of fight, so if you're shorting it, I would not short it forever. Even if it does go down without me, I don't want to trade it generally behind here without some kind of deeper reason. I want to make sure that as I cross over, let somebody else take that risk. And that was the comments that I added. So that's just a brief demonstration of what I mean by this. Okay. So when I said this has lots of strength, please use caution by exiting the shorts at appropriate areas. Let others take that risk. Okay. All right, so now we're coming down, and you can see that we're coming down. The volume's really draining up. So even if there's local selling, the volume's draining. Therefore, I don't want to be shorting these for very long if I was going to be shorting them at all. And let's just draw now our down move, and then we'll try to wick match that down move in an appropriate area. And I would say it's probably about here. And I'm going to make it dashed. It's probably about right there. Okay, so now we can draw probably a better health for ourselves. We're going to bring it up to here, and then we'll get you guys prices, and we'll move on. Do I have any other questions for JASMY? Okay, any questions for JASMY? Okay, I'm looking for breakouts in health above 00710. And again, breakdowns below this range here, which is going to be around 0034 and 00279. The number's already on the board for you guys here. I'll just make them bold and beautiful. Okay. So as I showed you guys at the beginning of this video, I deleted these arrows. I'm just going to bring them back now so you guys understand what it is I'm looking for. The vortex somewhere around October of 2026. All right. I don't see any questions for the comments, so I'm just going to do this. Previous JASMY April 4th, 2026. No update. Today we did a quick demonstration of the remaining bullish players. It's not the end all be all, because players can enter, guys, but where we see them already enter, that's basically where they're at right now. The remaining bullish players on the board create strong risk for the bears at 0.0300034 to 0027 area. Remember to exit shorts for safety. Not gamblers. Okay, everything in this video is never financial, investment, or trading advice of any kind. Everything is just for entertainment, educational, comedic purposes only. I eat red crayons for breakfast. Trading markets carry substantial risk. Never trade more than you can afford to lose, especially beware against high-leverage trading. Past performance is never indicative of future performance, especially beware against high-leverage trading. Next crypto I'm going to look at is a V. Is this for Zverse? Looks like I got it. Zverse. VEE. Okay. All right. Looks like it's a crypto that's going down for quite a bit. Let's take a look at the money. Interesting. All right. I'm going to use some help. I'm going to get some help, so you guys can help me calculate what's happening. All right. Can I get some help today from our live studio audience? Yes? No? All right. Somebody tell me what was happening to this crypto just before we went down into the weakness area. What was happening here to this? Let's make some observations. There's about 2 or 3 things we might be able to notice before we go into the weakness. What was happening? Okay. There's 3 things I hope you guys can catch. Let's participate. Okay. I'm not here to give people a fish, but to teach people how to fish, how to read, understand the biggest dynamics moving in and out of price action. What happened here? We're talking March to August of 2025. Okay, Camino's driving me crazy. Camino's driving, he says. But I know he's not the only person who can make an observation about what happened in this area up here. It's Saturday. You all can't be at work. Nobody? Wow. Okay, we broke at support. What can you tell me about maybe structure or the spreads or any other observation you can make on this screen? Breaking support is a negative thing, but there's a few things. What else happened? Okay. Broke support. All right, some buying may have taken place. And where did the buying come in? Okay, show me where. Can you circle on that screen? Is it over here? I'll come. So this one is not the buying. And how do we know it's not the buying? Does anybody want to try and help her out? How do we know it's not buying? There's 2 dead giveaways. But you're close. You're close. But thank you for your good try, Kanji. Okay, we know it's not buying because the move is on the up bars, up moves and uptrend with a larger downtrend in the background. We got another high, and it's into weakness. So if you see the up bars up moves with moves into weakness, especially if they're followed by the down move, that wasn't buying. How could it be buying if price is only going to the low side? The other dead giveaway is that we're closing near the low on all those up bars. So we got how many up bars? Let's just quickly count them. And this is so good. And I'm so glad you said that. We got 1 up bar. You can see we came all the way this high and closed near there. Got another one. Came really high, closed near the low. Can't close near the low. Close near the low. Close near the low. Okay. So when we're closing near the low with high volume on the up bar, we're actually looking at the exact opposite. That's going to be your professional selling. Okay, you got that, Kanji? So it's going to happen on the up. And it seems like it's counterintuitive. The reason is for that is because they have to sell to the lemmings. They have the professionals, when they're dumping their money and they have a lot of money to pass on, here to the tune of $6 to $4 billion, or not billion dollars, a billion shares at 0.001. So that's going to be somewhere in at least closer to $1 million, I think. When you have that much to pass on, according to Tom Williams and Gavin Holmes, it has to happen while elation is happening. So the retail market is saying, oh, I want it. And they're saying, okay, take it. And retail always gets it wrong. So the masses, the herd, they're like, yay, let's buy this crypto. Come on, let's buy it. And you're probably seeing lots of YouTube videos at this time happening, and the money switching hands. And you have to understand the money switching hands. Who's winning, who's losing. So we can see, like right here, we can confirm, whoa. But we also should have had warning signs when we were seeing all these wicks closing back near the low on ultra high volume. And primarily that ultra high volume was starting here at these final days. Okay. So it's primarily here. So we have a large amount of money that's going through. Now, there's one other thing there's a few other things I wanted you guys to catch. In addition to these high volumes, spikes closing near the low, moves into weakness, the structure moving into weakness, there's something I want you to notice about the spreads. The average spread is smalling. And this is where volume spread analysis gets its unique name, volume spread analysis. The spreads of the candles themselves start getting smaller from being larger in the past, okay? When you start seeing the spreads getting smaller, that's a language in itself. You can see it's shrinking spread. Okay, so watch out for that, smaller or shrinking spreads. That's also a tell that the market is ready to change. Shrinking spreads. Okay. All right, so that's important. So this is telling us, hey, we're ready for a reversal. It's a reversal. Okay, I'm teaching you guys this how you can read, because one day this is going to be very important to you. This is a 2-week chart, so each bar is 2 weeks worth of time. Now, what else do we understand structurally? What's also something to note structurally for this? And how can we use that to help us make money, save money, protect money, see potential opportunities on this chart? Somebody else show me something structurally. Nothing? No one? Okay, here's the answer. I'm going to show it on the board. Don't say I never did anything nice to you. There's a flat here. Here's the core. Okay. Do you see how we're responding to this top over and over again? Okay. Yet the move is into weakness. When that happens, what's the next thing I should probably do for myself? If I can identify something like this, what's probably the next thing I should probably do? And let's give it the range to about the wick averages. What should I do? How can I use it to help protect my finances? What's the next step? I'm a millionaire, I'm a billionaire, and I need to protect. I got millions of dollars on the line. What should I do if I can see this? What's the next thing? Nothing? Wow. Wow. The answer is we're going to be taking our key angle and duplicating it. We're going to be bringing it down to the lowest energy center in the area. Okay, so if this is the energy center, or the center of this energy, I'm going to take those and I'm going to duplicate whatever angles. I'm going to place it between those areas. So in this case, it's a flat. I'm going to be moving the flat there. Okay, that's what I'm going to be doing. Okay, and we can take the range too. So we're going to bring it down. I'll bring it to about the core, and I'm going to be looking for here for a change of behavior. So I can now tell me the next part of the story should be somewhere down here. If I'm breaking below here, closing below here, something's not right. We can see that we got this large up move with the type of bar with wicks on both sides. What type of bar is that with the wicks on both sides? On there, November of 2025, what was that? There's a reason I'm showing you this. Okay, we're almost done. If you can do this on one crypto, you can do it on a lot of crypto. What is this? When you see bars with high wicks on both sides, what do we call that? Starts with an S. Anybody? Shakeout, that's right. Nope. Shakeout. Shakeout is what type of indication? Which direction? When you see shakeouts, what does it mean? Correct. It's generally a continuation indication. And there are exceptions to the rules. But it's rare. Okay? When you see those, it tells you there's still more to that direction. So if you start seeing those shakeout bars, you're often thinking, okay, what am I going? I'm going down before, let's go down again. Here's a small version of a shakeout. You can see us testing the highs up here. And then there's a shakeout bar. And what do? We continue high for another many months. Okay. That was in May, and we don't go into the weakness all the way till August. Okay. So this is a shakeout. This is our continuation. And now we're here. Here's another example of a shakeout bar. It's right here. You can see it's right there. See the high wicks on both sides? Okay. It's not a super strong one, but it's here. Okay, and this is where we got some money coming in, and then we end up closing near the underneath that shakeout area. Now, one of the things we got to do, we got to pay attention to the down bars, the down moves, and we got to pay attention to who's winning the game in those areas. One of the things we can see is the last thing that happened is as we're coming down, we see the volume rising. And that volume doesn't put us back into health. Let's draw the health so we can understand where that health is. Let's draw our foundation. How did the down move start? It happened with some kind of move like this. So we got this down move here for V, and we're going to be we need to keep our eyes on those down foundations because that's how it lets us know when the game is over or when the game is changing. So we're going to stretch this out. And I don't want to cut into those candles. Do you see those candles up here? I don't want to cut into them. So I just want to put it right along the core. And then once I have that angle, I want to try to solve for any wick matches, and I don't only have one wick, so I'm not going to really bring it up there. But what this lets me know is that I have a better permission to buy this crypto if I was on this side of the board. That's what that means. Okay, so if I'm on this side of the line, the down move gives me a stronger probability that a down move is over. If there's professional buying, just like there's selling, it happens on the up bar. But the buying happens on the down bar. So when the candles start coming down, I start looking for money starting to enter. And that's when we really start paying attention. But it also doesn't mean that we're going straight up. And it doesn't mean that the buyers have control. One of the things you want to see, you really love to see it, if you can, and it happens quite a bit. But on the down move, if we have high volume and we challenge again and on increasing volume, that means the move's not done. There's still too many traders waiting to play lower prices or wanting and willing to exchange at the lower prices. But, however, if you see that volume drying up and you come down to the same exact areas, but the volume is really, really low, that's when you're going to know that you're probably going to be more looking for a reversal in those seasons. We're going to talk about that a little bit later when we talk about this crypto called ALCH, because I believe it's a good coin. But one of the things you're going to be looking at right now with this coin is, I would say, in my opinion, it's not really ready, because when we came down to these areas, the volume, when we challenge down here, the volume is still high, if not higher than the previous area. So there's still too many people willing to trade at these areas. Does that make sense? So that's something you got to watch out for. Let's bring now this bottom in play to the core, and then we'll bring it to the wick side here. And let's just bring in approximately where the averages are. All right, so as it is, we're going to do just a few more things with this one since we're almost done. We're going to DP the oscillation to the bottom, and that means I'm going to take the average. We're going to do the top to the bottom of I'm going to do about to the core here, the top to the core. And that's because I have so many wicks touching the top around here. And then the bottom, I don't have any extra, so I'm just going to be conservative about this. But even if you were just general, that's about what you're looking for. If when in doubt, just do the middle to the middle. But I'm going to measure this. And I measured it. It's approximately to about here. So that's about the distance. And it's the same whether your angle is big or small. We're going to take the measurement, bring this to the downside, and I'll put it at the core, exactly where I last measured it off. I'm going to take the angle, and then I'm going to place this here, and we're going to put it here, and I'm going to make sure I'm doing that. Okay, so that was the distance in between, so now I'm going to put this on the bottom side. Perfect. All right, so here approximately is what we call the DP. If this was the key angle, if I was labeling it, and this was the phantom angle, and let's put that on the top, then this would be the duplicate projection, or what we call the DP. And the DP will have a range approximately of 0.000062 000053. So that's the DP for this Okay, so now I understand something happened. I'm supposed to have support here at this area. And what do we have? What happened so far in the game? We would have known this back there, by the way. We could have projected way before we even fell, which we do oftentimes in these classes and sessions. We fell to there. We bounced here for 1, 2, 3, 4 months. And what? So now we can make a big assumption about something that happened just in the past month. What happened in March 16th, according to this? According to this data, what happened in March for V? Can anybody help me out? Nobody? I gotta be a better teacher, guys. Okay. The answer is weakness occurred. Price moved below those supports that we were able to calculate. Okay, in these sessions, we do them a lot. You can start seeing the wicks getting close and really low here. Give or take our margin of error, this was our confirmed weakness. That was when we know the game was wrong. This was an important weakness because we're now performing below the DP. So it's like price fell into the basement. So we should not be here. If we were going to bounce, we needed to bounce on a support into a health like that. Okay, but that did not happen. Right? That did not happen. So it's letting us know the opposite. Okay, you guys got it? So because of these reasons, V is going to be a dangerous crypto for us at the moment. The thing I do is the high volume on the down move, but we still need to move into health. But we just don't have it structurally just yet. So it's possible that we could be experiencing bearish harmony. Bearish harmony is when the volume starts ramping up in those directions of the wrong direction, or what I shouldn't say wrong direction, of the right direction. In this case, price wants lower prices. So I'm going to say we need to watch this, but right now I don't really have anything that's going to tell me that it's time to reverse, okay, position. All right, let's write a little synopsis for us, and then we can give ourselves some alerts. VEE. And all right, MEX exchange, April 4th, 2026. This crypto has moved down with professional selling in the background. Price recently moved and closed below its DP flat at 0.000062 area. This was bearish as well. Oh, and I should have wrote this. Selling in the background in, what was the dates approximately? July 2025. Closes below its flat. When did we get that close with the shakeout? November 2024. And what happened in November 2024? Do you guys remember what happened in November 2024? Oh, not November. Yeah, November 2025. Yeah, what happened in November 2025? October was the top of the market, right? Which everyone here knew because we did four or five videos about it, some even publicly on YouTube. Right? That was the top of the market in October. That's when I told everybody I'm exiting everything. A lot of people thought I was crazy to sell so much things, but I just got out. There was way too much risk, and I don't like to have that kind of risk. And I'm better for it. Okay. Price moved below this. This was the top of the market. This was also the predicted, I can say that here in our community, predicted top of the market. Price recently closed below its DP flat on which day? We closed on March 16th. This was bearish as well. And therefore, the one positive is that the volume may have some buying entering in these seasons. The issue is that the volume the structure does not have a move into health to confirm the buying. Therefore, I don't have permission to enter this crypto in a bullish way. Okay, don't have permission to enter in a bullish way. I'm looking for health structures. Currently, they're going to be when we break through the white line. And I'll just set an alert for myself here, clicking on line itself, and I'll put for the message, price touching upper resistance, re-examine. That does not mean buy, it means re-examine. Because if I move into health and I get on that side, if I get on this side of price and I have this high volume in the background on the down bars, I'm going to be looking at that as a positive thing. But right now in its context, it's only just telling me, hey, I'm still bearish, and there's probably bearish harmony, a lot of momentum to the downside. Those are the two ways to interpret that. I do not have permission to be into a bearish position. All right. All right, let's move on. Anybody have any other questions regarding my thoughts on V? Okay, so we covered JASMY, BLOCKV. Let's look at ALCH. Okay, so this is an important crypto that I want you guys to take a look at. All right, I'm going to tell you guys why I like this coin so far. Okay, so one of the things I like about this coin, I'll read from March 4th. This was earlier in the month. This crypto shows strong signs of professional accumulation. Currently, price barely fell during October price crash, and this was this month, okay, this year. We barely fell during the October price crash. Price is not even fully at its support of 0.60063.058 area. I'll be looking most optimistically when the market turns around. This crypto has my eye. An alert has been created at 0.064 and 0.058. If BTC is at 49,000K during the support, I want in. So it looks like we're at that support right now. Wait, hold on. Let's support 64 to 58. That's this area right here in blue, okay? So right about there. Let me put that back. This crypto has unconfirmed recent buying, but in the same areas as previous buying, and therefore it should be accumulation. By the way, accumulation is cumulative. It's true. This crypto has unconfirmed recent buying, but in the same area as the previous buying, therefore it should be accumulation. This crypto needs health above the white down line. This is this one right here. Okay, we need to get above there. Therefore, in my opinion, the crypto should fall a bit further. I do not want to short this. The risk is to the upside is too great. See today's video for tutorial March 4th. Okay, so that's the big takeaways. And we're going to just talk about some of these things because we are now here. So one of the things we're looking for on the down bars, down moves, this is what primarily you guys are looking for. As price is falling, you're looking for volume to rise. It needs to look like that. Okay, there's a lot of crypto that you guys can be buying that you need to be looking for in your future that's going to look like this. And there's a lot of crypto that does not have this. If you see the down bars, down moves, especially when the spread starts shrinking and the moves are into health, then the move has buying in the background than for it. And those are the moves that are going to have a much easier time moving higher and staying higher for quite some time. Here we moved in February 2025 and didn't get into our weakness all the way until January 2026. So a whole year we stay up on this weekly chart, and that's a good thing. Okay. In addition to all of this, when we came down from the August 2025 high into the health, when we had that health, we also moved up again on increase in volume. So you can see the volume's rising as price is falling. Does that make sense? But the move is into health. So therefore, we're looking at professional accumulation. So this is money coming in. So we got money coming in here, back here. We got money coming in here. These are the professional players. Now, if there's some selling, it's going to be happening in these areas here, and there may be some selling that took place in these days, right approximately here, okay? But for the most part, the next time we came here, we didn't really see that. So I didn't really see a lot of professional selling back when. I didn't see much. Maybe there's some profit takers from these guys, and that makes sense. There needs to be some. But I like that the professional buying is always on the down bar, down move. And this may be some of the professional selling When we come up down again, we get some more of that buying. Now, how do we know it's buying again? Because it's on the down bar, down move into health with high volume here. So when you see that, you're looking at buying, and we can confirm it approximately somewhere here in October 2020. So when the market was crashing in October 2025, this was actually moving up. Now, it's hard to sustain those moves when you're the only fish swimming against a stream, and that's something you should be aware of. But it's more signs that somebody was buying this when things were down, and that's actually a good thing with this crypto. Okay, so I said this: fish swimming against the stream. Okay, fish swimming against the stream. Why is it? Because the professionals were buying this when the markets were down, which is hard to do or rare to do. So maybe this will be a type of crypto that's counterintuitive during the next market down moves. I'm expecting a down move very soon, so this may actually have my attention. Now, we're going to be looking next at this down move when we finally do come down. What am I seeing the volume doing again? As price is falling on the down move, the volume is once again, rising. You can see that. So all that's needed now is a move into health, approximately here, and we're very close. The support has held where the support has been. Approximately, it's here, and you can see that we hit it once, we hit it twice, and I believe we're going to go into this move here soon. But with this in the background, that means that there's very possible some money coming in. Now, we need the health to confirm it, so I still says professional accumulation unconfirmed. Very likely. It matches the previous VZB accumulation. So what is that? VZB accumulation is the areas where they first paid. So these guys paid here, and I've asked you guys this question before, so I'm going to ask you guys again. They paid these prices. What level of pain do these guys feel right now, those who paid these prices down here? What level of pain they have, bearing in mind that the current price is 0.623. So it's 6 cents. And these guys paid a penny, 2 penny, 3 penny, 4 3 pennies. So they paid, especially the bulk of them paid somewhere under 2 cents down here. Okay, we know that they paid there because of the volume. Okay, that's where approximately they paid. So we can actually tighten that up a little bit more. We also see, so my first question, how much pain do these guys feel right now, psychologically? Let me know. Let me know. Come on. Somebody help me. There's a reason I'm asking this. You need to understand the game. It's simple. You guys can do it. Do they feel pain? That's not how you spell pain. Do they feel pain? Yes or no? They're still in profit, says Moira. And Moira would be correct. There is no pain. They're not losing money. They're still up. You guys understand? They're still up. Okay? There's no pain for them. They don't start feeling pain until they start losing. They start losing here, for one, down there, and the other place where they bought. These guys may feel some pain, but even then, they're okay because it's still where they paid. They were comfortable saying, they said to you, hey guys, we're okay getting in here for a bull position here and here. We're okay. We'll pay that. So they're not in pain either. They're still up, my friends. Do you understand? Who's losing this game? The only people who are losing right now is probably retail who were buying. Maybe they bought these guys up here. They were buying, not the shorters. But that's probably about all that's losing. The real players are still in the game. It's what I'm getting at, okay? The real players are not losing. They have no pain. Does that make sense? So there's no incentive for them. One of the things they've done, they entered here, and then they entered some more. And what I'm getting at right now is I believe these guys are entering again at the same prices that they entered last time, which was here. I believe that's exactly what's happening. Only one part of the formula that's left. Get me to the church on time, and we can talk about going up. Okay, so that's something you need to understand. These guys are winning. The buyers appear to be still in the game. Buyers still in. Now, let me talk about something else that's important to this. Okay, the buyers are still in. So what you're going to be looking for next is absorption / control of the area. Okay, this is the last thing we're going to talk about. And then I'm going to move on. Okay. If I hide the lines and I pull up the volume again, you're looking for areas where they bought to have control. And right now I can't calculate for the bottom since we're so far, but I can calculate for this top. Look, from here to here, there's still a lot of players that have came out until just recently. Look, I'm going to show you. Okay. From here to here was the players. It was approximately this many players. A lot of people were willing to trade at those lower prices, even when we went into health. We went into health without them having absorbed or controlled the supply at that time. The absorption and control was not here, and that gives it an incentive to challenge the area again. Okay, this happens all the time in the markets. They did not, the price moved up without absorption and control. When that happens, especially if it's on high volume, don't be afraid to look in those same areas again. And when it did, we need to pay attention. So when we did, what happened next? We got more volume coming out, right? That means there was still a lot of players willing to play lower. So once we were here, it was right that we're actually playing just a little bit lower. But now that we're actually getting even more lower, we're actually getting to the meat. What's happened in the volume in the last 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 weeks? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We have the down move. It's a down move, that's for sure. What's happening with the volume? The last thing I'm going to talk about for this. What's happening with the volume in the last 5 weeks? Somebody tell me what is going on here. What the heck is happening? Why is there no volume here? Why is there no players? What does this mean? Somebody help me. I'm new. Nobody? Man, nobody's helping me out today. I need some class participation, guys. I need some participation. I've taught this lots of times. There should be at least maybe 20 people in this group who understand this. Absorption. Good job, Toya. Good job, Toya. Somebody's paying attention. Absorption / control has taken a place. How do we know that? Because now the volume has dried up. This is super critical. Because the buyers came in, they bought up the floating supply. The buyers came in, they bought up the floating supply. The buyers came in, they bought up the floating supply. But now there's no more floating supply. They've won. All they have yet to do now is to get into position here. And this crypto will take off, and people will see like it takes off overnight. And they will be like, wow, why did it go up? And it may go up very strong for a long time. Okay, it may go up for quite some time because it now has a structure that's needed to assume a large bull run. The campaigns that happen over several years in the stock markets, in markets where there's a accumulation campaign, it's areas of accumulation until they finally get to a point where they control the game. It's called absorption. And you'll know because you look for the areas where they bought and where they're supposed to be buying, where they paid, if they're winning, if they're losing. These guys are winning. These guys are accumulating, and they're now controlling. So they are now absorbing the bulk of the floating supply. They are controlling the game. We only need one other factor, and that's to have them move up. Now, if the last time there was a market crash, these guys drove up the price. I wouldn't be surprised that now that we're on the cusp of another great crash, which you guys are going to see in just a few moments, I wouldn't be surprised that this crypto also is going to do a very well in the season. So if there was something I want to say, I think this one will probably do well. I think it's going to be this crypto. Go to a monthly chart. Here's a monthly chart. Yep. This is easily seen. Everything is easily seen on this chart. Okay. They control last month, March, maybe even this month. I think this is almost all we need. Okay. So now I told people this. When we come down here, I want to check that volume. I'm looking optimistically when the market turns around. This crypto has my eye. Alert has been created. Currently, price fell. It's my opinion. This crypto should fall a little bit farther. That's signs of professional accumulation. Now we're going to update this for this month. Okay, you guys are a great audience. I do need a little more participation. Okay, don't let me feel alone. I don't like being alone. It makes me feel alone. April 4th, 2026. This crypto now has signs that it is being controlled, or it shouldn't be controlled, that the floating supply is being absorbed / controlled at this current time. Now there's more. People could dump and put a lot of orders, and then they have to buy up that floating supply. It happens in the market. It was explained quite a bit by Tom Williams and Gavin Holmes in their course back in the day at the company Trade Guide, which I recommend them to start reading volume, but it is complicated on their side. But for the most part, there can be more supply that's dumped in the market. But as it is, where I'm looking, they're winning. Okay. So this is being absorbed, self-control at this current time. Only one factor is needed next, and that is a move into health. Let's go back to that weekly chart. Okay, that is a move into health. And I'm going to stretch that line here for the monthly chart, 052. Okay. And that is a move into health. This is price closing above the white line. Also of note, this crypto moved up during the last market crash. I am currently expecting the next part of the crash to begin soon. I am looking for this coin to do well. Very well. As last time there was no absorption / control. Okay. Alert has been created at the white line. I am looking for a close on the weekly chart. Okay. That'll be good enough. Let me adjust my line for the weekly chart. And then this angle will be okay. This is going to be a dissipating angle, so we'll give it 2 different colors. So this will come out, and I'm going to give you guys the exact price. Okay, that one's already done. I don't need that anymore. Cool. Let's give you the exact price. So I want to draw this on a weekly chart so I can confirm a better health. That's going to be 087. And I may take a position right now at the bottom here. I may take a position in these days, but I'll probably take another position only when we get our closes above 0.8. So I might take a small buy at 0.60, current, whatever today's price is. And then I'll be looking to try to get a price here. The low again is 0, looks like the low flat 0.52 with a really long at 0.043, a really long wicks down here at 0.40. Okay, so somewhere in this range, I want to start getting that, but really I want to buy once this is coming down into health. And could be several more weeks, but if the crash is really soon, I wouldn't be surprised if this crypto moves counterintuitive. And I'm going to write that down. I would not be surprised if when the market goes down as a whole, Bitcoin, okay, BTC, that this crypto moves up again. Okay, I just wouldn't be surprised. Okay, does anyone have any other questions? My thoughts regarding ALCH, and this is Alchemist AI. I have no clue about this one, about the fundamentals, but I know a lot about the underlying structure and stock. All right, that's all. Pay attention to that one.